Liverpool have comfortably beaten Leeds United 3-0 in the Premier League, but at a significant cost to Harvey Elliott. It looks like he's potentially snapped his ankle or broken his ankle, some sort of serious damage to the ankle. Anyway, it doesn't look the best in terms of his recovery. Could be a while before we get to see him play again. It's such a shame for such a young man who's got such a lot of potential around him. I really wanted to see what he could do, not only in this game, but also just throughout the season. Hopefully he's okay long term. The short term prognosis doesn't look good, but it remains to be seen, and let's all remain positive and hope he is okay. This is a very quick match analysis of the game and just sort of going through what happened in the game, because I did live stream the game on Twitch, twitch.tv/LNobbins. If you want to get involved in the chat live on stream, you want to talk to me, ask me some footy questions, or just have a general chit chat with me whilst we're watching the game, then you're more than welcome to follow the Twitch, because I do football streams regularly, football watch-alongs regularly, and gaming streams regularly as well. And this was a game that we live streamed earlier today. So let's go to my trusty stats board and let's start to analyze the game and see what happened in the game, start to break it down. So before I go into the stats in particular, I'm just going to give my thoughts of the game as a whole. First 10 minutes or so, I thought Leeds were very good, especially. There was this one moment in particular where Rodrigo had a shot where he really, I think, should have scored. Maybe it wasn't the easiest shot to take on, but he hits it and it just straight down the middle of the goal. It's hit with a lot of venom, but straight into Alisson. He's obviously going to save it. If he hits that left or he hits it right, then it's a goal. That actually came from a counter attack, because Leeds had the ball in possession, they got dispossessed, Salah went on a run, he dived frankly, then Leeds take possession back on that counter attack from Liverpool's original counter attack. But that was a potential warning sign for Liverpool. But it did keep on happening over and over again in the game. We'll get into it, but Liverpool obviously won, and they won comfortably 3-0. But there were multiple moments in the first half especially where one ball from Leeds just bypassed all of the Liverpool midfield and they were able to get in. Had that final killer ball from Leeds been a bit better, or had the finishing from Leeds been better, then Liverpool definitely would have conceded in this game. And early on, if Leeds get a goal early on, they never know how the game can turn out. So that is something that Leeds need to look at going forwards into the season, because they did play well in the opening exchanges. However, despite that potential frailty in midfield recurring throughout the match, the same can be said of Leeds. Woeful defensively, genuinely awful defensively. The first goal in particular, Matip, who does come forward because he is a ball-playing centre-half, not to the same level as someone like Van Dijk, but he can play with the ball and he does like to come out and roam a little bit. Just comes to the midfield, and he's like, what, maybe 30, 25 yards out from goal. And no one's really closing him. I don't really understand why he's been afforded that much space. I think it's Bamford and maybe Rodrigo who were just watching him. They're just walking. They're not even bothering to get back and press the centre-half. They've just allowed to saunter right past them. And the ball works its way to Trent Alexander-Arnold. And there's 4 players around Mo Salah, and not one of them is able to prevent the cross coming in. Not one of them is able to block the shot. Not one of them is able to block off that passing lane from Trent. And they're all playing him onside as well, or someone's playing him onside as well. Awful, horrendous defending from Leeds, and that would be the same instance for the second goal as well. Scruffy corner. They didn't win the second ball, they didn't win the third ball, and Fabinho is able to tuck it in quite easily. Not good enough from Leeds. They then go down to 10 men. We've talked about the Harvey Elliott injury. Very bad looking injury. I only saw it in real time. They didn't show the replays because it was a horror injury. People who did see further replays told me that, yeah, it was really bad, and I've subsequently read that it does appear to be some sort of snapped or potentially dislocated ankle. I can't remember the exact one, but some bad ankle injury, basically. And I don't think it was a red card, especially from what I've been told. It definitely wasn't a red card. It's almost as if the severity of the injury has made it so that has informed the referee's thinking. I don't think that's right, by the way. I don't think that a severity of an injury should necessarily inform you as to whether it's a red card or not. So a little bit hard done by, but not that it mattered. In terms of the game, Liverpool were definitely going to win, and Liverpool got a third very late on. Sadio Mane finally getting his goal. Liverpool deserved winners. Leeds didn't deserve anything. They've got some genuine issues they need to really sort, otherwise there could be a couple more batterings this season if Leeds aren't careful, as we saw in the first game at Old Trafford. I've got them to finish slightly lower than last season, but if they carry on like that, it could be much lower still. So now let's go into the stats, and we can just see the possession actually isn't that bad. But look at the expected goals. Liverpool could have had 4, realistically. Leeds at home couldn't even get to 1. It's not just because they were down to 10 men. This was the same instance before that. They didn't create one big chance in the game. That's because they lack, or certainly in this game at least, lacked that killer ball or killer finish in the final third. Wasn't really good enough. There were a couple occasions where they just had to score and they didn't. A bit more quality up front and they would have scored. I think that's sort of displaying the fact that they were a championship side a few years ago, so a few more signings are needed if Leeds want to become a greater force, if they would genuinely want to become someone like an Aston Villa who should be pushing for Europe. I admire the way they play. I admire the way Leeds play, but there is an inherent issue with the way they play from a logistical and realistic, maybe pessimistic standpoint. You can't be gung-ho all of the time. Unless you're like Pep's Barcelona and you're always going to have all of the ball and you basically don't have to worry about giving the ball away. You can't be all attacking all of the time. Frankly, you aren't good enough to be all attacking all the time. And I just think it's a little bit, I don't want to say arrogant, and I don't want to say misguided. It's probably naive. That's probably the best word. It's a very overused word, but I do think it is very applicable. But the other issue is, if you are going to be all gung-ho, you have to be pressing all of the time. I still can't get over that first goal where they just allow Matip to saunter through them. Balls just penetrating them all of the time. The issues Liverpool had in the midfield with balls getting through them too easily, it was the same issue with Leeds, but like 10 times as worse. It was just shocking. It was the same issue over and over and over again. What are you doing? Why aren't you fixing it? Why aren't you backing off a little bit? It would work if you maybe lost like 5-4. Potentially, or maybe looked like you were genuinely going to score, or maybe you did have an elite forward who could tuck away chances, but you don't have an elite forward. You've got Patrick Bamford. No offense to Bamford, but he's not that good. He's okay, he's fine, but he's nowhere near the level of the way that Leeds are trying to play, if that makes any form of sense. I hope what I've said makes some form of sense. But yeah, it's just reflected in the stats. They couldn't even get to double-digit shots at home. Liverpool were just dominating all of the shot metrics, all of the expected goals metrics, as you expect, and even passes. Like Leeds just like came unstuck in everything. Oh well, they got more duels won at least. Well, that's all right, isn't it? But no, they were just really shoddy. And in fact, let's just have a quick look at the lineups and where each Leeds player ranked. I think it's a bad day at the office for most of these players, honestly. There was one moment in particular, just looking at Luke Ayling's smiling face, when Ayling put a ball, he fizzed it. Maybe could have done it slightly less powerfully, but he did fizz it into Bamford, who was running, and had if he had a better first touch, he would have been in, and he probably would have scored. But because his first touch isn't that good, or as good as it could be, they didn't score, and there were just multiple moments over and over and over again where the idea was right from Leeds in the offensive sense anyway, when they should have been going gung-ho, but they just couldn't get the final pass, or they just couldn't get the final finish, and it was such a shame for them. And Liverpool punished them. And let's go to Liverpool now. Trent Alexander-Arnold, according to this site, was the man of the match. He did get the assist for the Mo Salah goal, and Liverpool were very good on this right-hand side with Trent and Salah in particular, less so down the left-hand side. I think they attacked slightly more often down the right to the left, but Sadio Mane had, I don't know how many chances he had exactly, but it was, in fact, if I click on him, we can probably find out, can't we? He had 10 shots, he was only able to get 1 goal, expected goal of 1.65. He had a lot of chances in that game. It wasn't really his game. Lots of Liverpool fans in the chat were getting very annoyed at Mane, but ultimately he did score that goal right at the end, and you can even tell in his celebration that he was very apologetic to his teammates for basically taking so long to score. I thought Thiago also had a really good game. He could have had that goal had Salah not been caught offside. He then crossed into Thiago, who scored a header, not something you usually associate with him. I thought that Thiago's little ball into Mane at the end was a lovely little no-look pass. That was glorious. Fabinho got his goal from the corner as well, and we've already discussed Harvey Elliott, who obviously suffered that really poor injury. But Liverpool overall were incredibly impressive. Apart from the first few minutes where they were a little bit suspect defensively, overall I thought it was a very impressive win by Liverpool. Definitely deserved winners. Red card did not matter. Leeds would have probably lost 3-0 even without the red card. Didn't affect the game. Liverpool were definitely going to win. You just got to look at it. Don't have to have watched the game. Just look at the stats. Not even close between the two sides. Very impressive from Liverpool. Not the easiest team to face, Leeds, even though they're not having the best start to the season, but based on last season, for example, City couldn't beat them, home or away. So for Liverpool to go to Leeds, smash them, and realistically not look like they're actually going to concede genuinely, very impressive from them. And I do think they will be in a title race this season, but I'd still maintain that they are going to finish third behind both Chelsea and Man City, but it will be close between those three sides. The injury does just raise the main issue with Liverpool. There is a lack of squad depth at Liverpool. Starting 11's fantastic, but with Harvey Elliott going out, I'm assuming he was supposed to be the Wijnaldum replacement almost, because Wijnaldum left to PSG. They've still got Henderson, obviously, who's their captain, brilliant player also, but it's just one less option that they're not going to be able to call upon for a large chunk of the season, maybe all of the season. I don't know how long Elliott's going to be out for exactly. That remains to be seen. But if everyone else can stay fit, it's not the best start in terms of keeping players fit, but if everyone else can stay fit, then Liverpool will definitely be genuine title contenders this season. And let's end this on Leeds. The fact that they weren't able to create one big chance in the game at home, especially given how gung-ho they are in attack, is a little bit worrying. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this analysis of the match. I will try to keep doing match analysis videos, immediate post-match analysis videos of every single game that we live stream over on the Twitch, just to give my extra thoughts on the game. And if it's a City video, I'll throw in some player ratings as well, because I obviously know the Man City team more than I know other teams, so I sort of know how each team should be playing, and I know more accurate player ratings than doing it for other teams. Do make sure to leave a like on the video. Do make sure to subscribe if you are new. Make sure to follow the Twitch so you all stay updated for when we go live and do football watch along, so you can get involved in the chat and have a chat with your boy. And I'm actually going to go on holiday tomorrow on the 13th of September for 10 nights, but do not fear, I'm going to have 8 videos coming out for you whilst I'm away over those near 2 weeks, previewing and predicting all of the Champions League group stages. And the next live stream on the Twitch will be Chelsea versus Man City, 12:30 Saturday. The exact date is the 25th of September. If you want to keep updated with me whilst I am on holiday, I will be doing the occasional TikTok video, I think. Can't guarantee I'll be doing any TikTok lives. However, on Instagram, I will no doubt be doing some drunken Instagram stories and just showing off whatever food I'm eating. So if you want to see how I'm doing and stay updated with me whilst I'm on holiday, make sure you're following on Instagram. It's just LNobbins. That'll be the best way to see what I'm up to, basically. And until next time, guys, I'm out. Have a lovely day.